Derrick Moore taking us behind the scenes in the Michigan-Ohio State game from November 30th. He was on the Blue by 90 podcast earlier this week, and I mean, a lot of good stuff in there, but the main thing that kind of gives you chills listening to him talk about it was the entrance to the game, which has gone completely viral. It comes up, I mean, my algorithm's all Michigan at this point, but pretty much every day you see that on the timeline. And then, how they Ohio State was trying to intimidate them, as we've all seen in some of those videos, as they went back into the tunnel. As you can see on the screen here, if you're watching on YouTube, if Jayshon Barham gives you two-handed point, I mean, you're kind of done for. Your day's over. But they were talking a bunch of trash before. Then, of course, they cry about the flag planting after. But really, a couple things that stand out from the actual game is he's telling about this incredible speech Ernest Hausman gives late in the game, similar to Mikey Sainristil down there in 2022 when Sainristil said, the natty starts now and all this. Of course, they didn't win it all, but they finished that game really high defensively. And then them saying, it was just one of those weird moments where the culture, the backbone of their culture was there. No one was pointing fingers. They knew the offense was going to struggle. Kalel Mulling said, hey, we got you guys. We're going to go down there and score. And Derrick Moore said they didn't get it in the end zone or anything like that. But Zavada finished it off. Then they go back out there. They knew that they were going to get to stop. Wink Martindale, when they called that last timeout, said, and I quote, "Go out there and make a stop and let us get out of this trash stadium." He said, and then after that, had fun in the middle of the stadium. Derrick Moore was a ringleader of that. But it's, Michigan has a mental edge. You look across the sideline, and the feeling and the confidence from those Michigan guys, which really did start with that entrance to the game, was apparent all afternoon long, and it was kind of cool to hear about it.
Yeah, and looking at Jack Sawyer chirping before the game and then crying after the game was beautiful. So it was fantastic just to see him giving it out and then not being able to take it. That's Ohio State in a nutshell in that trash stadium. That's all I've got to say about it.
Wink saying that is just hilarious.
Fantastic. I want Big Wink back.
Yeah, I mean, gosh, you have a fourth straight win over Ohio State in your pocket, and Ryan Day has agreed to an extension. He'll be there for the next 7 years at least, though. We'll see if he's got a natty in hand now, which, give credit, it was won and well-earned, but I feel like a couple more losses to Michigan, they might run this guy out of town because that will wear off eventually. They're going to go for 5 in a row this last Saturday in November this year, it just reinforces the fact that when you look at the totality of the last 4 years compared to what Ohio State did in 4 weeks, I think what Michigan did trumps all that. So just my opinion, if we want to compare, a natty is a natty. You get to live with that forever, but you want to compare what the last few years have been like. It's still, I give Michigan the upper hand, even with, an 8-5 season. But been a fun ride, and we'll see if it continues.
As our Doug Karsh said, it is the first national champion with a Duke's Mayo Bowl resume. Fantastic, Doug.
I mean, he's got a point. I don't know that it would be the Mayo Bowl specifically, but, it's the resume, guess what, of a team that goes to a game and then all their players opt out of the bowl game. But instead they made the 12-team field and they won all their games. You got to give him credit for that, but he's completely right. College football has changed. You're going to see this now. We're the fourth-place team in the Big Ten. We just did. Wins it all, quote unquote.
What game they didn't win? The one that they wanted most.
That's right.
Period.
And
the story.
Maybe the second one that they wanted the most, potentially at Oregon, they lose. But postseason they got some wins. I do love this from Derrick Moore, who says about the Ohio State, all they were doing before the game. He said they kind of sat right there staring at us, talking trash. It was like, who do y'all think y'all are? We're not scared of y'all, anything like that. When we got back in the locker room, you could just feel the energy. And they looked running out there like that was the case, and of course backed it up all afternoon long. That was incredible. So we will see. We will see how this rivalry turns. But Derrick Moore is a guy who's coming back and never lost to them, and no one on their roster has beaten Michigan. So at least as a Buckeye. So that's got to make you feel good going into 2025.
Yep, I want to see Jack get that 0-4 tattoo right there on that big swollen bicep.
You think he will?
I don't know. I'll pay for it if he wants to. Give me a call.
That's right. I love it.